differentiate a 1 over 4 root x. In order to differentiate, you have to make sure that your function y is in the form of x to power of n. Then you can apply dy dx equals n x to power n minus 1. This is a quotient function. That means divide. It's a fraction. So therefore, we could either use quotient rule or simplify this to make it look like that. So I'm going to simplify it to make it look like that. So I'll get 1 over 4 times 1 over root of x. And that can be written as 1 over 4 times 1 over x to power a half, which is now can be written as 1 over 4 x to power minus a half. So now I've written it to look like that. 1 over 4 is a constant. N here is minus a half. So I can now apply dy dx. dy dx equals 1 over 4, bring the n down, times minus a half, x minus a half minus 1 is minus 3 over 2. And that can be written as 1 over 8 minus 1 over 8 times 1 over x to power 3 over 2. So I'm using my indices here now. But I can also write that. I know what 8 is in indices. So 8 can also be written as 8 is 2 to power of 3. And I can see a power of 3 here. So I could write this as minus 1 over 2 to power of 3 times 1 over x to power of a half, all to power of 3. Now, a power of a half is a root minus 1 over 2 to power of 3, 1 over root of x, that's the half, and all to power cube. In fact, that is also to power cube as well, because it's all for that. But 1 to power of cube is 1. So I could write minus 2 to power of 3 times 1 over root of x, or cube. Now, cube is common between these two. So I can take the cube out, and I can write my dy dx will equal to minus 1 times 1, minus 1 times 1 is minus 1, over, now, 2 root of x, all cube. Okay, that's beautiful. Now you could leave your answer that way. So you could have stopped here if you want, and you will still get your mark. Or you could progress all the way to here, applying the law of indices. So that's the rule of indices, basically. So that's your dy dx. So that is still correct if you stop anywhere there. Now the B part. This is product function. So you can see that's that function times that function. But the best thing is not to use product rule, but to expand it. So x cubed times 3x will be 3x to power 4, because that's x to power 1. Plus x cubed times 1, that'll be 3x. Now we can differentiate each one separately. Now that's your y. So don't forget that's x to power 1. So dy dx will be, n is 4. So 4, 3 times 4, that's 12. x, 4 minus 1, that's 3, plus 1 times 3, that's 3, and 1 minus 1, that would be 0, so that would be x to the power of 0. Just to remind you, x to the power of 0 equals 1. Anything to the power of 0 is 1, and that will be 12x cubed plus 3. You can see anyway, when you differentiate, the power decreases. It goes back in polynomial. The x to the power 4 becomes x to the power 3. The x to the power 1 becomes x to the power 0. This is always reduced to in polynomial. Whenever you differentiate, it reduces by 1. The exponent reduces by 1. Now the final one here, C. This is quotient. Quotient means divide. It's a fraction. But the best thing to do is to simplify rather than use quotient rule. So to simplify that, we just say, well, that's x over x squared minus 2 over x squared. Now you can simplify that. X cancel x, so you're going to get 1 over x minus 2 over x squared. Don't forget this is to the power of 1, and that's to the power of 2. Now I'm going to write this to look like that. So that will be x to the power minus 1 is there, minus 2x to the power minus is there. Now I can now differentiate that because it does look like that now. So n is minus 1 and n is minus 2. So now bring the minus 1 down. So that will be minus 1 x minus 2, because minus 1 is minus 2, minus, bring the minus 2 down, minus 2 times minus plus 4, x minus 2 minus 1 is minus 3. So that will be the y, the x. It's always good to simplify this. So again, write that in indices form. That will be minus 1 over x squared plus 4 over x cubed. That's the indices form. But if I multiply that by x, it will become x cubed. To make them the same denominator, I have to times that by x to make them look the same and be the same denominator. So that will be minus x over x cubed plus 4 over x cubed. And that can be written as 4 minus x over x cubed. And that will be the dy, dx. So that's the final answer. Don't rush to using quotient rule or product rule, quotient. Think whether it can be simplified quickly and then differentiate. That's the best way to go about it.